can find where they are on a map and what they are doing. And it's the same with the Netherlands. We have quite a number of points, and there are countries which have only 1 point, for example, Estonia, but we are waiting others for to come. So in the long run, these activities and these best practices can form at some point a European talent point network, and maybe on the long run also European talent centers will emerge, or the two things can happen together. So why is it good to form a European talent support network, which should be a self-organization of cooperation-based contacts? Because it's not probably, because we experienced it in Hungary as well, and Peter experienced in the student researcher movement as well, that it will increase the discovery and the support of the highly able. It will definitely boost research activities, which we are really lacking in Europe. It would extend the sharing of best practices, and at some point we will reach a critical mass when, at a European level, talent support should be taken into account when discussing all kinds of EU and national politics. And actually, the first applications appeared, which will, in Erasmus+, which will, or which intends to support networking among talent supporters. So in a future network, a European talent support network, hubs can be the European talent centers and nodes can be the European talent points. You know, center can be, a center, European talent center, can be responsible for a country, you know, but because of the different size of the countries, maybe in one country there can be more than one centers. And nodes, European talent points, can organize and focus on local talent supports. We are planning to register the European talent centers by the European Council of High Ability. And at the moment, Peter Chelme is the chairman of the it sounded a bit funny. Peter Chelme is the chairman of the president of the European Council of High Ability. And of course, it's a very sensitive issue, and all the guidelines we've collected together, it's in a preliminary state, but we're trying to speak about it and trying to put together a proposal which is actually acceptable for all countries. Because in Europe we have very different traditions how we look at talent support and how we define talent. So anyway, European Talent Center should be an organization at a point from a distinct organization or a part of a bigger organization, which can keep records of talent activities throughout the country. For example, the registration, or then they can help the European talent points, and they can work together with the ECHA, and they are willing to cooperate with each other. And that's the main point, that they are willing to cooperate with each other. They're willing to cooperate with ECHA, and might be they are interested in organizing talent days. Talent days was an idea which emerged in Hungary. There are events which sometimes have a conference part, sometimes has a festive part, but it's about talent, you know, and it's just to show how talent support and talented people are very important. And that became a movement too. In 2007 we had 5 talent days, and in 2011 we had 500 talent days. So people began to speak about talent and how to support talent, which is ultimately because we would like to create this talent-friendly society. European talent centers should be open to be visited, and at some point, what is very important, to influence decisions on policies. What about European talent points? They are proposed to be registered by European talent centers, and they can be all kinds of talent points. For example, schools, university departments, talent centers, even clubs or excellence centers, NGOs, whatever. Even policymakers who are interested in it, or I think it's a very important issue that we are waiting for business corporations to join to this European talent network as well. They can be parents' organizations or any kind of organizations which form a network, so some kind of umbrella organizations. And all, of course, one of the most important, gifted and talented people can be part of this European Talent Point system as well. Well, I don't want to say too much about this talent points because it's just in a preliminary state, as I told you. But it's what we are planning, that a talent point should have a clear plan for talent identification, support, research, aquarium planning, and so on. It should be willing to share information on talent support and cooperate with, and it should cooperate with other European talent points and with the talent center, and ultimately with ECHA. I just want to show just some little things we did in the past few months as a European Talent Center. We collected quite a number of best practices. Actually, we have over 40 best practices on a web page. In a way, when you read it, you can adapt it, and they are from 3 different continents. We put together a resource center with over 250 links and books and whatever, so you can do a little research on it, and all the conferences are there, and we put on quite a number of articles on it as well, on which can show what's going on in Europe in the field of talent support. So I just want to conclude with some sentence. We know very well that social networks are the best ways of exchanging information. You can exchange information on policies, best practices, and latest results. This is what we are doing right now here. We are sharing our best practices. And we actually need and we require social networks in order to spread valuable thoughts. Exchanging information accelerates the flow of knowledge on a topic, for in our case is talent support, raises novel opportunities for the gifted and talented in our case again, makes support of the gifted and talented wider and more efficient, and challenges all the above areas of information and changes all the above areas of information and practice. So we also know that social network provides a feeling of security. Yesterday, I don't remember, but someone was talking about it. So knowing about each other, knowing each other means in a way that we trust each other. Knowing, building trust, and will lead us to better cooperation. So being structured in a network can show also how important talent support it is. Ultimately, networks give us emotional and structural help and brings together different stakeholders who are interested in talent support, the gifted and talented themselves, their parents, relatives, friends, educators, psychologists, researchers, policymakers, entrepreneurs, civil servants, and NGOs. But successful networking is built on a spirit of giving and sharing, so it's not always easy because it's not bargaining and keeping score. So networking is a little bit an unselfish process, but you'll get more back than you give at the end. And what is the value behind it? And I usually quote Mihai Csikszentmihalyi because it makes a great difference for our children, to our children and their children, whether they live in a society where talents are valued and developed to their utmost, or in one where potentials are left stagnant and unfulfilled. And also I would like to show you that we're going to have a talent towards a European Talent Support Network conference, so if you're interested, just tell me and then you'll be invited to come. So thank you very much for your attention. Talent points are different. Each and every talent point is different, you know. It can be part of a school, a very successful school program, for example, especially for the gifted. But sometimes it's, okay, somebody just telling me that I have to talk to. Yeah, because people can't hear me. So talent points are really very different. Some of them are just like a small chess club, you know. but some of them are really big. For example, we have a talent point in the university, which is trying to moderate which trying to moderate the talent support activities in the university, which is called the Pedagogicum. So that's a huge talent point. It's one of the biggest in Hungary. So a university department focusing on talent education can be a talent point, but also there are schools and some parts of, for example, a secondary school can be a talent point with special talent support activities. Like, for example, and let me tell something from my family. Two of the children are in a secondary school, which has an incredibly good maths teacher. And that maths teacher is wide known in Hungary. So the school decided to give the opportunity for the elementary school students who are very good at maths to come into the secondary school. So they all come into the secondary school and they have a course with that secondary school teacher. So it's immediately a completely different type of networking, you know, that these children has an opportunity to meet the best teacher in the district where we live. But it can happen in a different way. So it really depends on, it's hard to grab the idea that each and every talent point is different. And some is big and some is small, but they all have to be opened, and they all have, one of the main things they have to do, they have to help the talented child to find the adequate support. They have to help to find the best support they need, you know. And also you can come from a little village and then you can find the next talent point, maybe because you know that person, but that person may have other contacts all over Hungary, so that person may can help you to find a mentor. But we have quite a number of other activities which I couldn't cover at the moment, which can help in networking and help for students to find the best thing. However, it's not easy, you know. Talent points are sort of selfish to keep the best students, and they don't want to give it away. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, please.
Do you have a selection criteria for choosing the talent point?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. You can register as a talent point. You know, you can register as a talent point, but there is a set of criteria put together, and it's revised in every second year because it can change. There is a criteria, and then people go there and look at whether you really do what you said. You know, it's yes. Yes, it's evaluated. Yes, it's. Mm-hmm.
Can we take the questions outside so that we'll be able to read them?
Okay, thank you.
On behalf of the organizers and the participants in this conference, it gives me great pleasure to thank Ms. Csilla Fuszek for her comprehensive presentation. I think it becomes extremely relevant for a country like India. And I think more importantly, I think she has put forth the point that the child is more important than issues of groups working. And so it is extremely important that we network, we share. I think it's an extremely important lesson for large countries that are so diverse like India. So I think there's something for us to take forward. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce the next two speakers, Adam Bodison and Angela McFarlane. They're going to be participating in the discussion.